Oh, we're at the airport now. Ooh. March 12th, 1 p.m. 1 p.m. local time, Hope Springs Hotel. I know that once we had landed, I'm supposed to let the local police take over. And thanks to Mrs. Teniro and Miss Melee, I was able to preserve the crime scene. But I just can't shake it. I wasn't able to talk with Miss Teniro in private. So I'm left wondering just what was she up to? Why did she do what she did? There must be a way for me to continue my investigation. Okay, why is Edgeworth's theme playing with someone coming in? I've been expecting you, Miles Edgeworth. I've been expecting you, Miles Edgeworth. Francisca, I thought you were still in Germany. I go where I'm needed. And wherever there are criminals to be caught. Her name is Francisca von Karma, the daughter of my mentor, Manfred von Karma. She, like myself, is a prosecutor. Are you heading up this case? It would be a bit of a relief if you are. Don't you try to flatter me, Miles Edgeworth. I'm placing you under arrest. What? It's quite frustrating, actually. I'd hoped to exact my revenge on you in a different venue. But I still have to take what I can get. I never thought I'd see the day when a disciple of the House of Von Karma would become a criminal. Have you no shame?
Francisca, your father killed someone. At this point, it was like, what, 20 years ago he killed someone? Only got caught 15 years later?
Wait, it has been all a misunderstanding. I didn't kill the victim. A misunderstanding? I heard all about the murder over the police radio from the captain himself. I waited for the victim on the first floor. You waited for the victim on the first floor and then beat him to death. Francisca, do you honestly believe I killed a man? I suppose I should reserve judgment until I've investigated this for myself. I could put your arrest on hold until then. That's as it should be. Ha! I don't need a lecture on how to perform my duties from you of all people. To be perfect in every way, the fulfillment of that creed alone is all I strive for. Well, I have my own creed, which I must fulfill. So why don't we solve this together? I have to get going. The crime scene awaits. Wait a minute. Wait. I just noticed something. Is this salmonella? This is salmonella, isn't it? He's turned around. Oh, Dad, I'm just over here eating my food, Dad. Raffle. Don't you dare leave town. Trust me, I had no intention to. Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Too slow. Ow! Listen up. I'm leaving you in charge of watching this man. Don't mess up, understand? Mr. Edwards, I'm supposed to guard him? A simple yes or no, detective. Yeah, yes, sir. I understand, sir. You just leave it to me. Miles Edgeworth. If you interfere with my investigation, I'll arrest you on the spot. Are we clear? Now then, if you'll excuse me. Good to see you again, Mr. Edgeworth. Boy, am I sure glad to see you're okay. Thank you, detective. I believe in you, sir. You can lean on me. I'll get you through this. I have to admit I'm a bit curious as to what Francisca is up to. Maybe I should ask the good detective. Very well. In that case, I have a few questions for you. Looking from behind. I think I've seen this man somewhere before. No. It's over in Russia. World flags lunchbox, is he Joe? Yeah. Found it! Lol. Oh, I feel the creative powers can be known. We're serving 9,000 lols. Oh, good gosh. For my next little movie, Mr. Samurai, Warrior of New World Tokyo. Versus the World Samurai Champion Universe. It's gonna rock so many blockers. The Steel Samurai is finally getting a movie. So how's the initial investigation going? We just shipped the body off to the coroner's office. We're taking statements now, sir. That sounds like Francisca. She was always good at quick response to the case. I'd say she was, a little quick, too quick, sir. Oh, how so? I rushed over as soon as I got word of the affair, sir. But somehow, when I got here, Miss Von Karma was already here barking orders at everyone. It's kind of creepy. I thought she knew there had been a murder or something. And I'd come in advance to await your flight's arrival. That's sort of odd. She did show up rather quickly and out of the blue. Plus, I still don't know why she's here in America. There must be some backstory to all of this. Miss Von Karma, she just kind of popped up at the prosecutor's office a week ago, sir. Something about chasing down leads related to a certain incident. No details? It's kind of top secret, so she can't talk about it, even with me, sir. Knowing her, the only type of talking she likes to do is with her wit. Plus, I doubt the top secret part was what stopped her from talking to you, detective. Although I wonder if her case has anything to do with mine. Anyway, that's about all the info I have, sir. Should find out more as we investigate. Yes, it's high time to resume my investigation. Sternum was talking to the people involved in the case afresh. Can I just leave? Ah, okay. So you must be the captain. Yes. Well, yes. Yes, I am. And you might be? I am the Prodigy prosecutor, Francisca Von Karma, and I have a few questions for you. Don't you dare, Captain. Getting friendly with another woman. I'll never forgive you if you do. What are you talking about? I only have eyes for you, my dear Cammy. Oh boy. I wouldn't bet money on my our dear captain to be much of a reputable person. Sure you don't want to ask the captain some questions, sir? He was in the cockpit the entire time. I highly doubt he would know anything of use. Anyway, I would like to leave that type of witness to Francisca and her whip. Ah! I'm surprised Francisca didn't stop us. Now see here. Ah! Sorry. How long do you intend to hold me? It is impossible for me to be the criminal. I told you. Mr. LeBlanc. Oh, it's you. Doesn't matter, stop stopping me from going. Time is money. I don't have even a second of wasteful time to spend. Bye. It looks like we can't go beyond. It looks like we can't go beyond here, sir. Plus, the body's been sent off to the medical examiner's office for an autopsy. Mr. Edwards, you have to see this chair. It says in honor of Rocker Pal Day. And what exactly is the big deal with these Rocker Pals? They're seriously sweet Swiss superstar rock band, sir. Makes me want to listen to one of their songs right now. Sorry, I got lost in the forest of his S's just now. You need me to explain it to you again? You know, detective, I think I'll take a rain check on that, regrettably. Alright, dude. Did you finish taking this statement yet? Yep, all done, sir. I do not concern if you are done examining the cargo hold. I want my cargo back. If you make even a single scratch on my art, you will pay. Art? What sort of art? Mr. Monk is an art dealer, so he's got a bunch of artwork down in the cargo hold, sir. There's practically a mountain of them, large and small. From folk customers to stone statues, I sell all kinds of arts. Folk costumes. Speaking of which, Mr. LeBlanc's hat looks kind of like another piece of cloth. Actually, it kind of does. Mr. LeBlanc, can you please take a look at this for me? Oh, it's a Borginian cloth. As I suspected, your hat is made of the same material, I suppose? Of course. The fabric is so famous, orders come from overseas for more. Then this is the cargo you were talking about earlier. No. My cargo this time is much many gigantic. You're a detective. When can I have my cargo moved? Get your cargo back when we're done investigating, pal. The stubbornness of you police is no good. And it's no good that the attendant refuses to exit the attendant's room too. That attendant? I wonder if he's talking about Miss Teniro. What do you mean by that attendant, Mr. LeBlanc? She was taken into the attendance room for her interview. And then, they still have not come out. They make no signs of coming out either. I was finished with my own interview much quicker than her. Why is Miss Teniro's interview the only one that's taken up so much time? Miles Edgeworth, you were given free rein to examine a plane, weren't you? Yes, I was able to obtain the cooperation of the flight attendants. Speaking of attendants, I'd like to speak with Miss Teniro. I wonder if you would grant me permission to enter the flight attendant's room. Before I do, you still have to clear up a few issues surrounding your own circumstances, Miles Edgeworth. I understand. You may have tricked those attendants with your sophisticated talking, but you can't pull the wool over my eyes, Miles Edgeworth. Let's not complicate things and go with the most obvious conclusion. The scene of the crime was here in the very lounge the body was discovered. From the time the victim was calling for an attendant until his body was found, the only person in the lounge the entire time was you, Miles Edgeworth. I see multiple false statements. This unmistakably makes you the likeliest suspect. I see 2 contradictions. The likeliest suspect, Francisca. Do you have a problem with that? No, but it's not like you to use such vague wording. You're usually a bit more absolute. I'm simply trying to watch out for you. Or is my kindness too hard for you to comprehend? Thank you, but your leniency is unnecessary, for I will prove my innocence soon enough. If I wanted to continue my investigation, I'll have to break her line of logic fast. Like, we pretty much concluded that the body was transported, so it's highly likely that the crime scene was not here.
Objection!
It would appear that you did not have all the information you needed after all. And what does that mean? I found a nice piece of evidence just before I was forced to stop investigating. A piece of evidence that proves the body was moved from a different location. The killer used this suitcase to move the victim's body, meaning that the real scene of the crime is not this lounge at all.
Objection!
Now, who's the one who rashly jumping to conclusions? Excuse me. All you did was find this piece of cloth inside a suitcase. That does not prove the body was moved. It could be that the killer simply chose that suitcase as a good place to hide the cloth. I expected you would come to that conclusion. It would seem that I can't escape that easily. You should know better than that. Avon Karma is perfect in every way. But did you know that the killer definitely wheeled that suitcase around at some point?
Objection!
As if there's proof of that. Where's the proof that the suitcase was moved around? Or does it want this?
Take that!
The spilled grape juice in front of the elevator? Yes, and I'd like to draw your attention to this area here. Where's the evidence that proves the killer dragged the suitcase through here?
Take that!
The mark here. Wouldn't you say that looks suspiciously like tracks from two wheels? I suppose. Further, there's also grape juice residue on the wheels of the suitcase. That means the suitcase containing the victim's body definitely passed through here. I suppose this means that the killer did move the victim's body from somewhere else. I'm glad you've come to your senses.
Objection!
Not so fast. This still doesn't put you in clear, not by a long shot. You prepared yourself and acquired the piggy bank before the plane hit that turbulence. Contradiction right there. And then you waited for the victim in the lounge where you would beat him to death. Then, while you were in the elevator with the victim's body stuffed into the suitcase, the plane hit that patch of turbulence and flew out. Out flew the body from within the suitcase. With no way out, you hastily put the suitcase back where you'd taken it from, and pretended to discover the body. Not a bad bit of logic for someone you thought of on the fly. Just what are you insinuating? That I will show you exactly how flawed your logic is. No matter how strong of a face you put on, not even you can hide your fears from me. I'll expose the flaws in her logic in one fell swoop.
Objection!
Yeah, Francisca. The fact that you took this piece of evidence into account in your testimony is to be condemned. Your legal prowess is certainly something to be feared. Evidence and logic. Essential tools that those who would stand in a courtroom must learn to master. But what if there was a fake piece of evidence thrown into the mix? A fake? The Captain Ugo piggy bank is just a fake. It is not the real murder weapon. What? The timing of when the piggy bank was taken from the shop is important. And it was taken after the turbulence had occurred. But then what about the blood on the bank? What do you make of that? I assume it was added after the murder when the killer fabricated this weapon. Looking at it this way, the killer basically did 3 things after the turbulence. After exiting the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase to the shop and left it there. The killer then proceeded to pick up the bank from the floor. And took it to fabricate a fake murder weapon by hitting the victim on the head. So the victim died in some other way than blunt force trauma. Finally, the victim's wallet was planted on my personage, in my pocket to be precise. Everything was done so that I would be framed for the murder of Mr. Ackby Hicks. You there! Yes, ma'am? Other than this piggy bank, was anything else resembling a murder weapon found? We didn't find anything in this lounge or in the shop that could be used as one, ma'am. It was done in the staff area. Also, hands could have confused but were broken during the turbulence. The remaining items all tested negative for any traces of blood. I see. Well, Miles Citrus, it appears your stall tactics are at an end. Well, it's possible it's just hidden somewhere, sir. Yeah! If the criminal had wanted to hide the weapon in a safer place, I'd say the weapon would have been hidden in the same place as the bloody cloth. Too easy. Exactly what I was thinking. Because the cloth was hidden inside that suitcase, it signals to me that the killer had not prepared a more secure place to hide the evidence. Which means the real murder weapon is either still on the murder's personage, or still at the real crime scene.
Objection!
There is no weapon. That is my prediction. They died in some other way that's not blunt force trauma. There is one possibility, and that would be that the piggy bank is in fact the real weapon. But didn't we just... Let me finish. The killer took the bank out from the display case before the turbulence, by opening the lock on the display case door, which Edwards could not have done. And it was at that time the glass pane in the door was broken. I say that's a perfectly reasonable line of reasoning, wouldn't you? Let's see. So that means the killer had the key to the display case. So now she's saying Miss Tenero. Francisca, that person you're talking about. Not so fast. I'm not finished. The person I'm talking about also committed another sin. She tricked the captain and granted you permission to conduct your investigation. Yes, it is a sin of lying. Okay, at this point I don't think it's Miss Tenero. It could be. I think somehow the captain might be involved. Or the sleepy girl. Speaking of which, I recall that you also wish to speak with her. Yes. Very well. Permission granted. But only if you can sit in your own interrogation. Only if I can sit in on your interrogation. Do we understand each other? I have no intention of interrogating her. But if you are welcome to accompany if you so wish. Miss Tenero is in the flight attendant's room. Let's move. One of them's here. Valuables? Fabulous? I was going to say valuables. Oh, that's fabulous. Fabulous. Fragile. So you're the one who poked around inside this plane without the captain's permission. Deviation from the flight attendant's manual is very unbecoming, you know. What were you hoping to accomplish by doing that? Miss Teniro. Ah, Mr. Edgeworth, you're here too. Could you please help us shed some light on why you did what you did? Alright. What is all this junk inside the boxes? There's no rhyme or reason to any of it. That is our lost and found, Mr. Edgeworth. Gold crowns, swords, and necklaces. It's like a treasure trove in here, sir. The fact that these were left on the plane implies that they were carried onto it to begin with. Something tells me it's time for Goyu to send its metal detectors out for repairs. So one of those suitcases designed by Miss Teniro. Can tell it's hardly ever been used by the lack of a single scratch on it. What's inside these boxes? Those are some souvenirs I bought in Virginia. There's so many! There's even a second box! Well, yes. Finding out folk art from around the world does great things for my creativity. Those suitcases certainly could have done with a whole lot less of your creativity. There's sure to be a clue of some sort in the trash can. Detective Gumshoe, if you please. Yes, sir. You just leave the rummaging to me. Scruffy, how dare you go through a woman's trash without her permission? Have you no sense of honor? Ah, I'm sorry. I'm just doing what Mr. Edgeworth told me. Ah! Forgive me, detective. Bye. Okay, so the release to the cargo hold. You miss my comment. Who's better at their job? Well, there's no comparison to be made, detective. None. Miles Edgeworth, is there something that you should be doing right now? Of course, I should be asking Miss Teniro for her side of the story. That's right. And how does she have anything to do with what's over there? If you already knew that, then why don't you hurry up and interrogate it? Lieutenant's lockers. Let's hurry up and examine them, sir. Why must men always be so rude? Besides, who exactly gave you permission to search through the attendant's lockers? Wait, detective. It would be uncouth of us to look in a woman's locker without her permission. Yeah, I guess so. Feel like this murderer's draft. I guess that's a whip not far behind. Why did you lie about receiving the captain's permission like that? Because I didn't think I would be able to get his permission. What do you mean? Captain, he only has ears for Kami. I spoke with the captain earlier myself. He definitely seems to be rather taken with Miss Melee. And on top of that, I had mistakenly accused Mr. Edgeworth of being the killer. I wanted to make amends. In that case, please allow me to thank you for what you did. Thanks to you, I was able to clear myself of all charges. Really? You were to prove your innocence? Oh, thank goodness. Miss Teniro, is it? There's one more thing I would like to ask you. You were in the in-flight shop just before the turbulence, weren't you? Please answer honestly. Yes, I was. And why were you there? Well, Why the sudden hesitation? Francisca seems to have struck a nerve. All I did was go check up on the shop like I always do. You're saying it was for work, then? Yes. I'm in charge of the shop, so I have to keep an eye on it. I don't have any reason to go there otherwise. After you visited the shop, you paid a visit to this room, correct? Yes, I came back to freshen up and adjust my makeup. I'm sorry, but there isn't much else to tell. Miss Teniro claims to have no other reason than duty to go to the shop. But is that all there is to it? Maybe I should ask her about that thing. Could you please take a look at this for me, Miss Teniro? How's that suitcase? Yes, about this suitcase. You are the one who designed it, correct? And I think I figured something else out about it. This suitcase is the reason you went to the shop, isn't it? There's nothing you won't find out eventually, is there? Would you please tell me more about this suitcase? Yes, I was interested in seeing how the suitcase I had designed were selling. I know that as a service professional, I'm not supposed to care. But I really wanted to know. I was glad to see that it was the last one there. So when she went, the suitcase is already gone. The last one there. You were saying, Miss Teniro, that the suitcase in question was the last one. Yes, they're just so popular they're practically flying off the shelves. Not practically, literally. That's not exactly the impression I got. The one in the shop is most definitely the last one. Well, we're currently looking at that suitcase. Really? I guess we've sold them all of them. Thank you very much for taking the last one. I didn't say anything about buying it. Didn't say you'll buy it. I'm sorry, I can't. But why? I think it'd go great with your complexion, Mr. Edgeworth. It really suits you. I guarantee it personally as a service professional. Well, that is, how should I put this? It's hideous. He's gonna come out and say it? What? Maybe that was a bit too direct. Moving on. My issue with the suitcase isn't the design. It's the number remaining of them. Remaining? There were 2 suitcases in the in-flight shop when I investigated it. 2? But that's impossible. I'm sure there was only 1. Looks like her story has generated quite the contradiction. When I left the shop, I'm positive there was only 1 suitcase left. Something is amiss here. What could be the meaning of this inconsistency? By the way, Miss Teniro, what's one of those suitcases doing here? I thought you said there was only 1 left. That one is, it's mine. I've used it for a very long time now. It still has the tag on it. She's used it for a long time. I think not. Miss Teniro, I appreciate it if you wouldn't lie to me. Excuse me? I don't believe for even 1 second that you used it for a very long time. What proves this hasn't been used for nearly as long as Miss Teniro says.
Take that!
Tell me, Miss Teniro, is it also your habit to keep the price tag pristine on your suitcase? What is the meaning of this? Why would you lie about the suitcase? Despite having faith in her design sense, the sales numbers made her cry at bitter tears. The truth is becoming increasingly clear to me. Miss Teniro, I think I understand. I know what you were trying to hide. Now then, the suitcase was originally in the in-flight shop. Seeing as how the price tag was still on the suitcase, one can only assume it was still on the floor for sale in the shop. And the person who bought this suitcase was probably her, right? She bought it herself to try to make the numbers look better.
Take that!
It was you, wasn't it, Miss Tenuro? I hate to say this, but the suitcase that you designed, it hasn't sold very well, has it? You saw how poorly the design that you poured your heart into was selling, and were deeply hurt. That is why you wanted to make it look like it was selling by buying it yourself. Isn't that right? Then, the reason you went to the shop and came back here was... I'm sorry. All I really have is my job. So overjoyed when my design was chosen. Thought maybe I'd finally accomplished something. But the suitcase didn't sell. Definitely not having anything to do with the absurd price tag on it, but I digress. It's because of the design, isn't it? All because it's, as you put it, hideous? Can't say they chose a great place in which to sell them either. We weren't selling a single one. They were just sitting there collecting dust. Felt so bad seeing them there, day in, day out. So I decided to buy one every flight I worked. What? You buy one every single time you work a flight. I see. So in order to keep your resolution, you went and bought every one today as well. Yes, and here is my receipt for that purchase. This receipt is clearly time-stamped 5:40 a.m. The truth is, there's still a bunch of them left unsold. They're planning to scrap the remaining ones at the end of this flight. Miss Teniro, where are these other suitcases? So they should all be down in the cargo hold. Oh, so the one used to transport the body was in the cargo hold then. Then that suitcase the killer used could very well have come from the cargo hold. Mr. Edgeworth, do you think that the killer used one of my suitcases too? Yes, I do. The killer used one of your beloved suitcases to move the victim's body. Ah, how could they? The suitcases were meant to be faithful partners to our passengers on their trips. That's all I ever wished for them to be. Miss Teniro, is there any other way to get to the cargo hold other than the elevator? The door in this room? The other way is just through that door there. And what about security? The door has no special lock installed because just to enter this room, you need a special keycard that only crew members have access to. Which means the culprit is someone who can enter this room, eliminating the passengers and leaving only crew members as potential suspects. I can't believe it. Yes, Francisca? Going on these wild goose chases, you're a disgrace to the Von Karma name. He's not a Von Karma! And what do you mean by that? The suitcase came from the cargo hold. That fact alone tells the whole story. Yes, which is why I said the culprit must be a crew member who used their keycard. Miles Edgeworth, are you proposing the killer rode the elevator from the cargo hold, correct? The killer rode the elevator from the cargo hold, correct? Yes, that's the only realistic possibility. Not necessarily. Killer could have come through here. The other attendant, Miss Melee. I asked her earlier if she had this to say. Francisco got information out of Miss Melee. In order to make the elevator go down to the cargo hold, A different keycard is required. A different one. Yes, and the only person who holds that particular card is you, Miss Rhoda Tenero, and only you. Ah! What? Is that true, Miss Tenero? Yes, I keep that keycard in my locker at all times. Could you please show us that card right now? It's gonna be gone. The card's gonna be gone, and it's gonna open everyone up as a suspect. It could be one of those cards in the elevator. Ah! I don't believe it. What's wrong? It's a key card. It's gone. Ha ha ha. Very clever. Pretending that your card was stolen when in fact you're just trying to hide it from us. You really thought this through? Wait, it's not like that. You can tell us all about this, like down at the station. Officer, arrest this woman. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Edgeworth. What's wrong? There's disbelief written all over your face. Francisca, I know that you are the lead investigator on this case. However... Hold it. Don't even think about wasting any more of my time. You know the rules as well as I do. Evidence speaks louder than words. Even if it isn't a courtroom, the basic tenet still applies. I intend to investigate the cargo hold now. What will you do, Miles Edgeworth? I intend to do likewise.